y'all. So, I want to do this one. Still springboarding off of the Paris versus Chrissy beef, but most importantly, I really want to address something in terms of the YouTuber space. I am by no means a professional YouTuber or have been on YouTube for quite a long time. I've been on YouTube quite a long time, but not on YouTube in terms of being a tuber. I'm not really part of the community, and even though I'm starting today, I'm not particularly part of it. But as such, maybe we should revisit this a year or so down the line and see where my position is. But this is my position today. Let's get into it. So I really want to talk on the idea of the YouTuber, especially for the YouTubers that present more personal, more social issues of that nature, and how it can affect your life in your personal life, especially since you're so saturated and thought focused on it. When you focus on something so much in one segment of the community for so long, and if you ask me, I think there is a space for it because you don't want certain niche arguments to go without scrutiny, without being looked at, because there may be certain points of views and perspectives that may lend itself to the whole community. That said, whether you're dealing with colorism or MGTOWs, or you hating black men, or black men hating black women, or white men hating white women hating men, or men just hating women, women just hating men, whatever category you mostly focus on, when you focus on it so much, then you get what you attract. You get what your mind focuses the most on. And you'll take on a lot of the arguments, a lot of the attitudes, and you may even bring it into your personal space where it's not needed. Even if those points are nuanced in your life, because you focus on it so much that you start to spill it out onto the table. You start to overanalyze your personal space more than you really need to, because some people are really talking very surface level. Some people are really part of the deeper conversation, but the question is, if they're not paying attention to it, that's not an arrogant in which they focus on. When you introduce it into your personal life, you will. Is it art imitating life, life imitating art? I mean, it's just YouTube. And to a degree, it is just YouTube. I mean, let's be fair, it is just YouTube. But does YouTube really, as much as we believe it so, really spill itself and lend itself into the real world? I would suggest in a way it does, but in a way it doesn't. Just like the mind, YouTube is exactly what you focus on. If all you focus is on the gaming and stuff, you'll realize there's such a big gaming community, and there's so many different arrogance and sub-communities just into it that you could get lost in the sauce just on YouTube alone, dealing with that and that alone. Whereas if you focus on just black issues, those issues in the black community will always arise, will always come up, because you're paying attention to the news, you're mining the community just for those arguments, and then you'll insert yourself into it. I mean, I've just really made a video concerning two YouTubers, and the idea was not so much to focus on their issue, but a little bit, but the higher meaning. Now, I have to accept the fact that as it is in YouTube, saying certain names, and unfortunately, I'm going to try my best to not do that, but so much, but I had to use that because I was going to deal with certain points and use their audios to really expound upon my conversation, because it sounds a lot better, if you ask me, when you hear the voice of someone speaking on that point, and then I can insert myself in so that you can kind of see it. And even though I am technically inserting myself into it, I will have to deal with the backlash that may come from it. That I'm new with it. I'm gonna figure out what's the best and most assertive way of dealing with it. But again, I would like to focus on everybody that may decide to follow me or just listen to me. If you want to be riding on the Playboy side of things, my area of the YouTube space, I want you, as Obsidian would say, to recon only. I want my gentlemen, no matter how angered and enlightened they may be on the topics, to just take the information that you're hearing from the other side, bring it over here, we'll dissect it, we'll break it down, and we'll represent it with the other side's point of view, our side, the thinking man segment and the thinking woman segment, and we break it down on our side, chop it up, and put it back out there to the YouTube community. More concise, more precise, more bullet pointed, and we're gonna really get into doing some homework on it. We're gonna do as much research as we can to build out our point of views. And I'm gonna, probably a lot of my videos will develop itself into video essays. There's a lot of things I do want to do. I'll figure out the business model for this, because I do want to start producing documentaries and things of that nature. But for now, we're just going to shoot out ideas. We're just going to jump in 10 toes deep and get in the mud with it. But we're not going to mudsling. And I don't suggest anybody that listens to me to go out there to do it. I think that's lame. And especially for the gentlemen, let's not get too tough into it. I understand, I think it's called red pill rage, and we all go through it. And I think women go through their version of it. And this is the hunger pains of being enlightened, or actually seeing the dark side of the other side. But then we have to not get so drown ourselves in it, because there's also a positive aspect there. And the question we have to ask ourselves is, which controls which? And we got to know what's a vocal majority. Doesn't have to necessarily mean the majority. It's the vocal majority. And those are the people that have no problem going on YouTube talking about it. That's why it's such a niche space. Not everybody really even is thinking about these topics. Not everybody's onto video games. Not everybody's thinking about comic book movies the way we do as an art form. It's just a stupid, entertaining movie. Some people look at it from a comic book nerd aspect, and they have their people that look at it this way. And we have to understand these things, because someone that's not within those type of arrogance will not see the space in which you come from, because they don't understand that space. If you get into the colorism space, most people are not going to understand that space. Unfortunately, the people that are more staunch in their position don't even understand the full ramifications, the full understanding of why that space is what it is. But we're going to dig into a lot of things, baby. We're going to really chop it up. I really want you guys to really flow with me on this side. We're gonna think a lot of things through. We're going to throw some thoughts out there into the pot. And I still think that we do need to be solution oriented. So I don't want everything to be all just random thoughts, but a lot of it is random thoughts, and we're going to touch on a couple topics, and then I'm going to have probably a channel for the points. And the points will be the summation, basically, of a series of thoughts that came into it, that will now put a point to it and put some solutions wrapped around it. You know what I mean? And my thing is, when it comes to a lot of topics, especially if you're one of those people that really believe in swirling, if you will. If you feel like that's the decision you're on, own up to the decision. Don't jump back unless you've changed your mind again. But don't argue about what you used to be if you're past that. If someone picked up the man on what you used to do, maybe they will stay there because they see things different, and in that they're different onto themselves from what you ever were doing, because they're leaning towards a certain type of direction. And let them go there, especially if you've been doing this for quite some time. I'm not saying that you can't have a point of view and opinion, quote unquote. Everyone loves to say it's just my opinion. But you're trying to also stir the pot. We can tell. Now here I want to stir the pot just a tad, but not in a negative atmosphere. I really want to just promote the other side. And even as I listen to what people talk, people usually tell you what they really about if you let them talk enough. So again, I really, to get to the point of this actual video, the idea of inviting the YouTube, what you do on the tube, into your personal life. Meaning, if it's you, it's you. But don't be so centered in that. If you're centered in that on the YouTube, leave it there. But when you go into real life, you don't live a life under the ban of video games, because life isn't all about video games. When you get into the gamer community, then there's certain segments in it. In relationships, you can't be focused just on colorism, because if you focus on colorism, then that's all you're going to pay attention to. It's like, if you know 85% of brothers date black women and you're so focused on the 15% and lesser, that's your fault. To suggest that what swirlers say in that community, even if it was the 100% of the 15% were all that negative, which is not even a fact. People mostly tell you that it's usually the people that saying the most effed up stuff. It's the smallest percentage of that arrogant. And the 15% and less that actually date out black men, you think more than 50% of that are really on the YouTube paying attention to what's going on? No. After they went their way, they went their way. Just because they're not onto it, do they have these philosophies? It's perhaps. We'll never know. Because they're not part of the vocal majority that's talking on. The vocal majority are those who only, most of them don't even have relationships, so most of them never even dated out. These are them being angry and just stealing talking points from several different YouTubers so they could take it as weapons, so they could just shoot it back at people that they feel that don't have enough bullets in their chamber to shoot back. And we're just going back and forth on the comment section. And you bring that negative attitude into your personal lives. And then it can really filter through. And even those that just watch YouTube, ask some of the people that really are into YouTube that heavy and pay so much attention to it that it started to augment their personal reality. They start to think about things differently, sometimes for better and a lot of times for worse. And that's why it'll create more YouTubers. And bad experiences will lead people down righteous paths and some down paths that aren't so righteous. So I think we have to have a level of self-awareness and always check ourselves. Everybody wants to check other people's privileges. Check yourselves. Ask yourselves. Really, don't be afraid to listen to the other side. And then listen to yourselves. Because sometimes, even what you say, you kind of express all the reasons why people said what they said about you. But you know how I think about it, how I give it up. Just a thought. Leave yours in the comments below. And scream at me if hollering ain't enough, man.